Today's video, we're gonna learn how to solve the volume, the surface area, and the lateral area of a cone. So first of all, what is a cone? A cone is a solid shape with a round base that narrows a point at the top. In this case, we have an upside down cone. So here are the things you need to know about a cone. This red line represents the radius of a cone, and this line represents the slant height of the cone, and this one represents the height of the cone. So let's have some examples. Let's say we have a cone with a radius of 3 feet, a slant height of 5 feet, and the height, which is unknown. To solve for the volume of the cone, we need first to determine the height. To find its height, we can see that there's a right triangle that is formed within a cone. So let's isolate that triangle, in which the adjacent is 3 feet, and the hypotenuse, which is the slant height, is 5 feet. And the formula that we're going to use to solve this triangle is the Pythagorean theorem, in which a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared, in which a and b can be either the adjacent or the opposite, and c is the hypotenuse. So we're finding for the opposite, in which the height of the cone. Let us make a the adjacent and b the opposite. So to solve for b, we need to transpose the a to the right side. Therefore, b squared is equal to c squared minus a squared. The a became negative since we've transposed it to the right side. So let's find the square root of both terms in order to cancel the square. Therefore, b is equal to the square root of 5 squared, which is the c, minus the a, 3 squared. Therefore, the opposite, or the b, is equal to 4 feet. So since we already know the value of the height of the cone, therefore, we can now solve for its volume. So v is equal to 1/3 times pi r squared times the height of the cone. So let's just substitute what we know. So v is equal to 1/3 times pi and the radius of 3 feet squared times the height of 4 feet. So therefore, the volume of the cone is 37.7 feet cubed. Now we know the volume of the cone. This time, let's solve for the surface area. So SA is equal to pi r times r plus the slant height. Let us substitute the r and the slant height. Therefore, pi 3 feet times 3 plus the slant height, which is 5 feet. Therefore, the surface area of the cone is equal to 75.4 square feet. Now, let us solve for the lateral area. So the lateral area is the surface area of the sides of any three-dimensional figure. This one represents this side of a cone. This red region is the base of the cone, but for this example, the cone is upside down. So the lateral area is this green region plus this red region, or the outer sides. So let's solve for it. We have a formula LA is equal to pi r times the slant height. Therefore, let's substitute pi times 3 times the slant height, which is 5. So therefore, LA is equal to 47.12 square feet. Let's try another example. Let's say we have a cone in which the height is equal to, let's say 7 inches, and the radius is equal to 2 inches, and the value of the slant height is unknown. So before we solve for the volume, we first need to know the value of the slant height. So in this, we can see a triangle. So let's isolate that triangle, in which the hypotenuse, which is the slant height, is unknown, and the adjacent, which is the radius, is 2 inches, and the opposite, which is the height, is 7 inches. So to solve for the hypotenuse, we'll use the Pythagorean theorem, which states that a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. So we all know that a and b can be either the adjacent or the opposite, and the c is the hypotenuse. So to cancel the square, we need to get the square root of both sides. So square root of c squared is equals to square root of a squared plus b squared. C is equal to square root of 2 squared, which is the adjacent, plus 7 squared, which is the opposite. Therefore, C is equal to 7.28 inches. So now we know the slant height. We can now solve for the volume. So V is equal to 1/3 times pi r squared and times the height. So let's substitute what we know. So 1/3 times pi times 2 squared and times the height, which is 7. Therefore, the volume of the cone is equal to 29.32 inches cubed. Now, let us solve for the surface area. So SA is equal to pi times r plus the slant height. Let's substitute the r and the slant height. So SA is equal to pi times 2 plus the slant height, which is 7.28. Therefore, the surface area is equal to 58.31 inches squared. And lastly, let us solve for the lateral area of the cone. So LA is equal to pi times radius times the slant height. So let's substitute pi times 2 times the slant height of 7.28. Therefore, the lateral area is equal to 45.74 inches squared. And that's today's video. is all about.